Better be ready. Sorry. Poor Blue.
Caught on the
Blue's
spot. I'm
like,
trying to
oh,
get back
well,
on
I was,
computer. Hold
not
on, here we
ready.
go.
Yeah.
You start with something.
Yeah, I
I'll
will
proceed
take
from
my
there.
seatbelt off. We are parked. We are parked across the street from a Trump golf course, actually. So, welcome everyone. I'm just getting ready. I said it would start at 4:15, so Hi, Darla. How is everybody doing today? So here, Blue is alive and well and recovering from her situation. And as far as that goes, she can't talk about it. Just suffice it to say, you see that she is okay. And
Yes, I'm
and
healing, so
yes,
that's all that anyone needs to know. And still projecting information forward, blueprints forward, as well as what we deal with forward in the Space Force. And speaking of Space Force, in our department, not per se mine, but dealing with the main department of Space Force alone, as well as certain areas in Air Force, and I'm pretty sure that SpaceX deployment field would deal with this too, is the Golden Dome project. And that additive runs onto protection scenario causeways. Now, there are new technologies that will soon be distributed upon the field, but those are mainly contributors to the upper hemisphere and out into the upper space domains. Those will counteract any potential hazards that could come upon the field, including some types of missiles that could knock off certain aerial nominated communication lines, as well as areas of effect.
like an
on its
EMP.
own. Yeah. So they have now a higher rate of an EMP pulsator or an EMP pulse reactor that would go against certain deployment fields that could potentially cause a harm. We already know EMP pulses are out there, but we also know that there are negative subjunctures out there that could create a problem with AI. And as well as computers, people's money that they direct between the fields, and as well as the communication lines. And that alone is in its own war.
So, before we get too into the weeds here, welcome everybody to today's beach report, and happy spring to all of you. Do you know that today is the vernal equinox? Do you know about that?
I don't pay attention.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. So today is actually I believe it's the longest day of the year as we transition from winter into spring. And today is actually, well, it's spring, so it's spring break, and we're in Florida. We're all celebrating spring break. So, hello everybody, and welcome to today's beach report. We have our resident alien, Blue, is here today to talk about some things that are very interesting in throughout our world and maybe other worlds too. So I have Blue come on sometimes on my show because I believe that there are things out there what we don't all understand, but I would like to understand it. And some people really get what Blue is saying. I know sometimes it's hard for me to even understand her, and she has to dumb it down for me like she says. But it's true. Blue does speak at a different level than I do, or maybe than you do. But I know that there are also people who watch Blue and get a lot out of what she's saying. So it's really up to you what you want to think about what Blue says. But I want to let you know that on the beach report, I give Blue a voice. Losing my voice. Sorry. I give Blue a voice because I am courageous enough to go there. So you can look at me any way you want and say I'm crazy, but I'll tell you what, I am courageous because there are things out there that we don't understand. And I think that somebody like Blue, if she can shed some light on it, or not. It's up to you and what you think. But at least I'll give her the opportunity to tell us about it. All right, Blue. So one thing that I'm very interested in to get started before we get any further is the fact that President Trump is talking about UAPs and aliens and all sorts of things that were crazy talk just even a year ago. So let's hear what Blue has to say about that. Go ahead, Blue. And also about the caves in the White House. That's an interesting one, isn't it? All right, Blue, go ahead.
So obviously, Obama recently kind of spilled the beans about aliens and kind of was not supposed to. And then we have Donald Trump pulling certain documents out from that were hidden in the Pentagon as well as Area 51. And Area 51 is only one zone out of several. There are several active zones that run through reverse extraterrestrial UAP technologies through the military departments. Air Force is one distributor of it. There is, well, certain fields and zones of different types of extraterrestrial entities, including grays that are protected. Those zones, humans are never allowed to go, most of humanity is never allowed to go into because it is an outlet for incorporated sciences, advantages, as well as technologies that are unknown to most of mankind. Donald Trump has in several years layered through Area 51, and I believe Cheyenne Mountain had to deal with the military base, and there is a coordinator through Mount Shasta too that deals with the Lemurian societies. He has come and gone several times and indoctrined through a specified area close to its zone. There are several types of highways that run and augment under the United States of America. Those highways are coordinators that deal with military, advanced military, subpsionic coordinators through the CIA. That means they deploy through the field certain types of psychic abilities and advancements that were given to them by higher beings and or those in a royal order itself that had an actuator from that zone. Donald Trump has an affiliator through certain types of good reptilian species as well as the Palladian star races. Val 4 is alive. Val 4 runs through a certain star council, as well as the main affiliator to certain activities in Q. The Anon, as well as running into certain strategic maneuvers through John F. Kennedy Jr. and the Starseed Hybrid program.
It's a program, Starseed Hybrids? What does that mean? Tell us a little more about that.
So let's say that there's a certain higher galactic council through the eons had maintained code of laws between themselves and the human race and had evaluated certain DNA structures upon humans and or other races and able to authorically thread and bias that movement stream through those eons, not through a naturalization zone through all humans, but certain types of SECTS, sex. Certain types of points and evaluators through those timelines. And then it skips every so many amounts. Now, John F. Kennedy, per se, him and his dad had worked through different types of extraterrestrials. And they had deployed through certain technologies in the field behind the scenes. They're maintained potentially through some of the advanced Tartarian societies, ecological movements that run through technologies that run under the White House and have been leveled out through several types of presidential elites throughout the years and several types of extraterrestrials, including Draconians, Greys, Archons, Tall Whites, Centaurians, Lemurians, some Atlantean species, but those more run through the aqua domains. They still have a highway projected. Is there anything you guys want to ask or do? And I need to take a drink real quick on my mouth.
I do have to say though, you look so much better than the last time I saw you. So for those of you who don't know, Blue had a little accident on her bike just a few weeks ago, maybe a month. And but she's really looking so much better, and even better than you looked before this. So I think you're looking very well. We don't have too much time because I am on my way to another show, a concert tonight, actually, for the 80s music. But I wanted to check in with Blue because there have been some things happening lately that she does want to talk to you guys about. So there was something else you were telling me that was important. Go ahead, Blue.
Well, full-on information is kind of wary this time, but fireballs in the sky do happen.
Fireballs, exactly.
Some people are concerned it may have to do with missiles coming down from Iran, but there is a difference here when you look at it. And as well as understanding that obviously the government would let people know too openly if stuff like that was happening.
Well, have you got
fireballs?
Have you heard about fireballs?
Accessors that certain celestial bodies that can be split off from the upper hemisphere and enact during that timeline and project during that scenario. Fireballs happen, meteorites happen, but sometimes, most of the time, most people can't see it. It just happens around them in certain rural areas or at night. But for a scene like this to come into effect, it also opens up the eyes, and it makes people more understand that there are certain things being projected and played out for that role around that time, but it doesn't always mean the same thing.
When you say projected, are you talking about holographs?
No.
You mean projected as in it's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, the similar things like these fireballs will come to be.
Okay,
and
so they're real. They're not
time,
holographs.
Yes.
Are they going to use holographs to confuse us?
They've used holographs before, like the Twin Towers.
Was that really?
Or 9/11.
Yeah, you think they used holographs on 9/11?
I've talked about it before. There's been projected scenarios between holograms and as well as split off. So there was a bomb that was being placed and implemented within the buildings, but the planes and diametric code were, they could have made a scenario where they split off a certain projected holograms through that, so it's not seen the way it should have been, but it was played out differently.
Seems like everything is some kind of a conspiracy these days.
So what I'm saying is they made it play out like planes hit it and made it collapse.
Right.
But it had a different
But it was really a bomb.
Yes.
Okay. I believe that because when the Twin Towers were hit, before they were hit, people had come up from the elevators. There had been a bomb in the basement. Nobody ever talks about that, though. True? Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing is the White House. I do want to explain that there are levels under it that run and incubate through the HoloNet worlds, but also utilize through advancements through the hybrid program. This hybrid program, the more lateral term that runs in through John F. Kennedy Jr., has innuators on time programmers. So that means that there's a higher awakening scene that several entities like myself have been set upon the field. And our DNA structure, as well as our neural processors, were redetermined and re-inputted through several different star races. Humans had a cooperative level through aliens in the past. There are highways that go in and out from underneath the White House to these HoloNet worlds, and allow several types of aliens to come in between there and the White House or other layers under the ground around the United States of America, or even expanded. There are programs that have been motivated in the past and still ongoing between the presidents and different star races. Most of mankind is not aware as well that there is a mothership that is cloaked above and or around the White House.
A mothership is cloaked around the...
For years, it's been there, but it stays there. It
Wow.
has an inclined denominator of a protective shield around its base and whatever it doctrines to it. So that was maybe one of the law standards in the past that a certain star race and presidentials have maintained. It is similar to other presidentials in other countries through motherships and star races. Like Vladimir Putin runs through the Nordics, the Palladian Nordics.
Wow.
And he has a certain type of Nordic species, and as well as a main affiliator, maybe a nominator to a mixed gray reptoid. They have in the past shown videos of potential star units by his residence. You can look that up online.
Actually, everything that Blue is saying, you can look up online, because it is a lot. I admit that even for myself, and I've been talking to Blue for what, 3 years now? We've been doing these Interview with an Alien shows, and there's a lot of times where Blue will get frustrated with me. I told you this before, but I don't always get what she's saying. You know, sometimes, Blue, you have to repeat it on. And as it is with everybody anyway, people have not been following me for the past 3 years here on YouTube anyway. But people on Facebook have been. And there are always mixed reactions. But I think the most important thing is that you listen to something that maybe you don't understand. And if you don't understand it and you don't want to understand, it's fine. Scroll by. You know, there's no need to stop and say something angry like. But the point being is that there's a lot going on in our world that we really don't understand. And we are being told, even by our government and President Trump, that there are aliens. There is something out there.
They are. Oh, can I intermediate?
Yep, go for it.
They're putting up a site on X having to do with release of documentations of extraterrestrials and UAPs. Now, how long that timeline will go, I'm not sure. But that is one of the things that is potentially going to happen, is already happening right now.
So Top said, I think Trump's talking about a different kind of alien.
There are many. He works with
There are many kinds of aliens, exactly.
He's a hybrid himself in a way. Palladian as well as a reptilian. No, not the bad part.
Can you explain a little bit a difference between the aliens that we might understand? Because it's
hybrids,
hard
we're theoretically inclined to the DNA factors of humans per se. So we can easily take over their form and utilize that through our own advantages as well as the field itself for the human race. But there are negative entities of hybrids out there too that take over the forms of humans, like the Vrills and the Draconians. Now, the Alpha Draconians didn't used to be incorporated negative. They're actually ensnared into the system like humans are. And they are programmed to deploy to doing negative things and eradicating things, like slaves. They're enslaved by the Vril and a certain type of Maitre Gray. The Mater Gray, or they're called Mater Gray, as well as the Orion Gray, not the Orion. There are two types of Orions and the Orions. The Orion Gray, as well as the Mater Gray, are a subspecies of Gray that have helped incline negativity and control over the eons upon this planet and several others. They have catalyzed abductions in the past. They have catalyzed negativity upon the masses. There are cow mutilations that have been caused and controlled by certain said species and others.
What's the difference between demons and aliens?
Well, demons, that's only a human's perception of something that's really evil.
Mm-hmm.
Perception
is everything.
There are negative entities out there.
Yeah.
And let's say that maybe there are divine demons out there that do run through, I could say, SCP Foundation, which is real. There may be some things added to that through that the people say it's fake. but most of it is not, because the organization itself runs through secure, contain, protect. It's run through paranormal entities, run through domains of other things, buildings, structures, a whole bunch. But going back to the aliens, there's just differences. We're hybrids, we're inclined genetically to our species, but our species are the main domain when it runs and augments in the higher celestial layers and down into the hollow worlds. So we're a genetic programmer, if you will. We're an upgrade. We could be an upgrade to humans in the near future. Who knows?
That kind of leads into Chop's next question. What do you think about aliens, galactic internet, and how much more superior that is than our Earth internet?
Well, initialization points go into hypertelepathy and utilizing a DNA programmer that automatically runs into hyperperception. That hyperperception automatically uses advanced travel through astral projection and central augmented layers through information data analytic streams. So it's easy for humans and other creatures to gain said information from under interplanetary grids and subsystems.
Tony has recognized that aliens come up from the middle of Earth, and I think that sounds right.
Well, yeah, the main holonet dimensions, but it's also coordinators and protected through certain types of secret government organizations, and as well as run past Antarctica wall, and as well as run past through the hyperdynamic oceanic layers, which is a main and circular motivator there. It has several types of nexus points that goes through numerical dimensions, as well as captivators through different types of species of humanoids, humans, aliens, as well as the paranormal itself. It can go into multiple types of lands as well as planetary alternate systems. There's portals.
In other words, everything is possible.
Is there a major interlink pool that runs between this main system and the hollow worlds? Because of that, you have the paranormal and the normal. And humans already know they have paranormal and normal, but they don't know that as an extender.
Tony says there is absolutely no way to travel 28 plus light years. It turns into a Star Trek mythology.
Hypersubsonic animatic recon points to utilizing certain quantum matter and project that layer outwards and inwards instantaneously. Portals are real. I myself have made blueprints for star portals, even for the boring systems for Elon Musk, which will come into the near future. It's easy to contort the spatial time matter, decidual matter that runs around the basis movement streams of this realm and many others.
Chopped is talking about wormholes, and he also says alien Bluetooth works with their brains and their computers. Like,
well, we are kind of
those
like
are hybrid.
Right,
that's a
we
hybrid.
We are kind of like computers in a way. We have an advanced AI augmented substream that utilizes hyper advantages more than other species. That's why most greys have big brains.
Right. Okay, interesting. So I have limited time, but before we get any further or sign off, I do want to let everyone know that Blue has been on my show on Facebook for the past 3 years, like I said. And in those 3 years, she has really, and even before that, before she started coming on the Beach Report, but she's always been a beloved member of her own communities. But since she joined the Beach Report communities, you guys have shown her a lot of love too. And when she did get hurt last month, you shown a lot of concern. And Blue never asks for anything, and neither do I. However, the outpouring of love and concern for Blue, it really meant a lot.
Yeah.
And
I'm not dead, just so someone knows. You look lifeless. Jilly's next to me, and many other people who know me. I don't blink and breathe as much as a human.
She's different.
I don't. I popped radars before going to a dentist, almost 45 minutes, barely breathing, and they asked if I was even alive, and that is a true story. That goes back a few years. Yes, I do have a different genetic order than humans because I'm a hybrid. There are other hybrids out there. We're a little bit different, but we're not quite the same as each other.
Well, and on the beach report too, I don't always do the comfortable stories that are easy to do. I do talk to people like Blue. Well, actually Blue is the only alien that I ever talk to. But I think that Blue is fascinating, and a lot of people also agree with me. So she comes on my show because I have the courage to interview her and to let her speak for herself. And you don't have to believe it. You can think whatever you want to think, but at least I give you the opportunity to get to know Blue and make up your own mind. So that said, one of our followers, my followers, who also loves Blue, wants Blue to have this.
Thank you. And people can go and pick on me, but I've been through a hell of a time in my life, and I'm so glad that I've done everything I've done to help humankind, including the blueprints. And I'll go ahead, I'll take my phone out, and I can give you all a gift of showing you some of the recent blueprints that I have done and helped incorporated, including to the sector of Thailand with the aqua oscillator device system. I'm just going to bring my point out there because, I'm very happy to help mankind. And they deserve to know what's going on because they're stuck in boxes, Jilly.
I know.
They're stuck in boxes. And you remember I showed this to you last time?
Yeah.
My originator, you guys will get a treat.
Yeah, you can try.
But enough is enough. You want this? That's my originator aqua oscillator device. That's what they're deploying on the field. You only see in a partial of that. I cannot give all my blueprints away.
Right.
All right. So this is important stuff to the field, okay? It's real. And you're only getting a little bit because I'm not going to be allowed to show everybody everything. Well, I don't know how much more serious I can get to helping. I'm not rich. I chose not to be rich. I chose not to be amongst the rich people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Because I have a different protocol here, my friends. And that's doing everything in my power to help you all as much as I possibly can. Yes, I'm an architect. But I give it to these corporations. Now, that's on them. That is on them to give out the quantum med bed or the aqua oscillator device or the tarot suits or the teleportation portals that I given to Elon Musk or stuff for the Neuralink. Hyper and tech agitators, which help to retrieve extra informational downloads through the mind and open up self-applicators through hypertelepathy, as well as hyperkinesis.
Thank you, Max, for acknowledging Blue Service. Thank you. Like I said, I have known her for the past 3 years. She's not somebody just picked up off the street. In fact, I did meet you in front of Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
And she has become a friend as well. And there is nothing. She is here to help. That's all. She's always got a positive message for you. And if you don't understand what she's saying, that's okay. I don't always understand what she's saying, but there are people out there who do. And let's respect everybody, okay? Because not everybody is like us or you or me or her. We're all different. And I think it's kind of sad sometimes when people see somebody who's different and tells you about their differences and you just make fun of them. Be an adult.
I'm happy being who I am, even if it means I'm a little oddball.
Yeah.
Everyone is in their own way now.
Everyone's weird. It's okay to be weird. So, you go ahead, read it. It's nice.
Sending you
TLP.
You know, some of this stuff being a hybrid too, taking over the human form, we're kind of lost integrational mode of some of the humans type of. I don't want to go here.
She doesn't understand things like this. You know what? It's so funny. Getting to know Blue, like the littlest thing, she's like, I don't get it. And then something, that she'll say, and I'll be like, I don't get it. The two of us are constantly, we don't understand each other. Maybe a good half of the time, but the other half of the time we're on the same wavelength. It's funny. It's interesting though. But anyway.
Goodness, I might need help with the name too.
Yeah, that's from LaDonna from West Virginia. Is one of my best supporters that always thinks of me. And when she heard that Blue was in an accident, she thought of Blue too. So she sent her a very nice card, and me too. I also got a card.
Well, I just want to thank her, and just so you know, I don't expect anything from anybody. I never did. But the only thing I expect from humanity is to acknowledge themselves as one and do better as a species. And that I can do as much as I can to help in return. That's it.
That's it.
Exactly. That's what makes me happy. That's what brings the joy in my own code. This is, I'm very thankful for, but regardless, helping you all, that's my main happiness.
And you know what? I feel the same. It's there are certain types of people in this world, and there are those who do things just to get what they can, and money and power and all that stuff. And Blue and I, when it comes to understanding each other, we're the same on this level. We just want people to have better lives and to do better and to be better and to want better for themselves, because when you want better for yourself, then you want better for everybody. Does that sound about right?
Exactly. Yeah. And if humankind just work together in the end, everything will be good.
Yeah.
Gotta slow down. And that includes the military departments on the field physically against each other. Eventually, you're going to have to slow this down and come to a halt, because if it keeps speeding up, the world's going to contract against itself, and humans will not be able to heal.
We need
Understand
peace.
that. If you take time just for 1 minute to understand that and find a way within the corporations and within certain entities that are causing problems to either create a better law with them, coordinate something, or lock away something that could be potentially really bad, do the right instead of doing the wrong. Slow down the killing applicated codes and redirect your neural structures better. See what you can do as a species as a whole, so you're not causing so much.
Itchy Fingers said it great. We need to stop using money and do things out of love and kindness. Thank you so much for saying that, because you're right about that too. If we could all just look at each other with love and kindness instead of, how can I destroy this person, or what can I say to make them feel bad? Negativity breeds negativity, and negative entities want you to be negative. But positivity, well, it's absolutely free, and it spreads as well. So I think everyone needs to choose to be positive and to look at other people, even if they might be aliens, and look at them with love and respect and kindness, and maybe that's how they'll look at you too. Does that sound about right?
And if you look closely to those running the field, especially through Secret Service, some of them aren't entirely human, may potentially be shapeshifters.
You just don't know.
If some of the eyes already been exposed before through cameras.
Somebody mentioned about cameras before too, and that is definitely...
That there is a way, and even through my own code, I've had receptors before that created a contortion with the pupils and the camera lens. And it does, because we're different energy than humans. So other things created different energy can affect as well what mirrors the effects of cameras. Spirits can too. They have. People take pictures of cameras and spirits and can't see them through the naked eye. Bam, it shows up right there on the camera. And that is true.
Yeah.
Think clearly on that.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to say ciao for now, and we will see you on the next beach report. Till then, have a blessed day, and thank you for your respect and your understanding. Say bye.